Good morning and welcome to the Big Backyard Vegetable Garden. This garden has been quite prolific for me this year. It's done really well. As you can see, this is October 15th and this is really just what's left of the garden. We haven't had any frosts yet, so my basil, the different varieties are humongous. This whole entire side of the garden is just lush with basil. I have quite a variety of tomatoes in here too. Check these out. These are called spoon tomatoes. I had one little plant and I've eaten some of them, of course, but look how cute they are. They just look really cool hanging here. They taste good, but they're just very attractive on the vine. I kind of like how that looks now. It does take up a lot of space, but you know, it looks really cool. Hopefully they come back next year. I also have some paste tomatoes here. These are Jersey Devils. My favorite tomato, which is this one here, as usual, I can't remember the names of anything when I'm doing a video. That's what happens. So I've got a chocolate pear tomato. I've got some 4th of July tomatoes. There were Cherokee purples in here, as well as black from Tula tomatoes in here. And pretty much it's the end of tomato season. I kind of have stopped picking them, really. I've gotten more than I know what to do with, and that's how it goes. Here's my cayenne peppers. I've picked quite a few of these this year. The plant's finally starting to yellow out a little bit, but it's still there. Down below it was another cayenne plant, a purple cayenne. I think this is it. And as you can see, it's done. And then this, I don't even remember what this was. This is another pepper plant, but it looks really good right now, actually. I think that this is my lunchbox peppers. So these are like a snacking pepper, and it's looking pretty healthy. So we'll just see what happens with that. Like I said, there's not that much left of the season here. Originally, right here I had my spaghetti squash growing, and my spaghetti squash was prolific this year. I had a ton of it, and I will show a picture on the screen of some of my harvests for this year. That tomato really climbed the trellis really well. Over here I put mint at the base of the garden, and it started to encroach into the garden, so I had to yank it back. These are ahi amarillo peppers. I still have quite a few out here that I can harvest, and the plant's still doing really well. Then next to that I have, they look like two different kinds of peppers, but these were supposed to be luchau or paprika peppers. I've treated them all as if they were all luchau or paprika peppers, but they don't all look the same, obviously. And I'm not sure exactly the reason for that, but I've been treating them by smoking them and drying them, and I'm going to turn them into paprika either way. We'll see what happens. This area of the garden is kind of a mixed bag. I do have a shishito pepper here and some more basil on this side, and pretty much wild strawberries. It's a weed fest. On this side I had a little butternut squash variety growing. It did okay. I had a decent amount of those, not very many really. And I had more mint there as well as more mint here. I've chopped this mint back. It'll come back next year without a problem. And more basil. I did have gladiolas growing in the garden this year for fun. Marigolds, as you can see, the pollinators are still after the marigolds as well. And I had, these are green chili peppers, like Big Jim's and Anaheim's, New Mexico style chilies. And this really lush, healthy looking pepper is a datil pepper. That's hot and spicy. They're yellow. There's some in there. This is doing great still, so that's terrific. And that basically gives you an overview of what's in my vegetable garden. The interesting thing about that is that next year, what I think I'm going to do, and this could be a bit controversial, is just have a volunteer vegetable garden. At the end of the season, once everything's frozen, I'm going to chop and drop every single thing here right where it is. The basil, the tomatoes, the peppers, everything. I'm just gonna chop it and drop it, leave it here to rot over the winter, leave the seeds to rot, and have a volunteer garden next year to see what grows. I guarantee I'm gonna have things like dill, and I'm gonna have basil probably, and well, we'll see what else happens. I'm hoping that the peppers come back. I'm guaranteed tomatoes. I have volunteer tomatoes every year, so I guarantee that some of these tomatoes will come back. And we'll just see what happens. I tend to get way more than I need when I harvest vegetables, so you know, so that's the thing. How well does it do if you take your vegetable garden and turn it into a volunteer garden? Now I'm kind of cheating a little bit because obviously I harvested all of my spaghetti squash and I harvested all of my butternut squash, and I cheated a little bit by throwing one out here so that at least one would have the opportunity to rot and come back. I don't want to not have them next year. Same with the cucumbers. I've left a couple of cucumbers here. They may or may not come back. We'll see what happens. And over here is my strawberry bed. It's being slowly taken over by the wiregrass. I ripped out a whole bunch of wiregrass yesterday, and you would think it would be easy to get wiregrass out from strawberries because the wiregrass looks so much different than strawberries. But both of these items spread by runner. And so you can be yanking up runners and you've pulled up strawberries and not wiregrass. And that's a bit frustrating. So, but it is what it is. We're going to see what happens. This will be a kind of a fun experiment. And hopefully I remember to update you on it. A couple of the other things that I will be doing though before I winter this over is I will spread additional carrot seeds out here. I do have carrot seed in the house and kale seed in the house. Those didn't get the chance to go to seed in here, although I do have some kale plants in here. And so in order to have those vegetables, I have to at least throw the seeds down and hope for the best. So carrots and kale have been sort of added, and other than that, it's a mystery what's going to happen here. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this messy vegetable garden tour. I'll include some pictures of this year's harvest and what it actually looked like when it was nice looking. Have a great day.